But we're going to start here. And their front page is lovely. It's very welcoming for all people. Equality for all, with people holding up their abortion is health care signs and stand with black women and I will aid and abet abortion and all that stuff. Isn't that lovely? But if we look at it, the Human Rights Campaign envisions a world where every member of the alphabet family has the freedom to live their truth without fear and with equality under the law. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we're starting here. The HRC, if you guys don't know, was established in 1980 by Steve Endine, mainly as a fund raising money for pro-alphabet congressional candidates. But it was switched to being much more, and that was in 1991 or 92. I can't remember, or 1995, my bad. 1995, that's when they adopted that equal sign logo. They started changing what they were involved with and all that stuff. And just a little note, Endine, the guy who created the HRC, he died at the age of 44, and you guessed it, due to AIDS. So it's just, that's God's way of saying this ain't natural. It's an unnatural disease built for people who practice an unnatural lifestyle. That's just how it goes, and it kills people at the very young age of 44. It's just, it's horrific. So if we keep going into the HRC, we will discover some interesting things. So if we go to their About page, you can see right here, I got a historical picture, but leading the fight for alphabet rights. And it says right there, we've spent 40 years creating the most powerful movement for equality for our country has ever seen. Equality. Yeah, that's a wonderful word that I'm honestly getting sick and tired of. But if we go a little bit further, it says our goal is to ensure that all alphabet people, and particularly those of us who are trans, people of color, and HIV, because you got to throw that in there, are heeded as full and are treated as full and equal citizens within our movement across the country and around the world. Okay. If we keep going, the children section, because yes, they've got a children section on here. So it's called the All Children, All Families program. This thing is, you're starting to see more of the indoctrination of things as it goes. And this is a program of the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, promotes alphabet inclusive politics and affirming practices among child welfare agencies. So this is where we're seeing, again, you're going to see this theme where it's mainly a focus on kids. It's all about getting the kids, because this isn't about, raising kids up to be tolerant of things. No, this is about grooming children. This is about getting them on board and indoctrinating them with this lifestyle, because they want them to have this lifestyle. Now, the people who are pulling all these strings, one of them being the HRC here, is about, there's different reasons why they want this agenda. We can go down the list. One of them would probably get me kicked off YouTube, so we're not. But there's multiple reasons why they're doing this, but the main one is spiritual. It's always spiritual. They're trying to disrupt God's order, the nuclear patriarchal family. That's just how it goes. And if we keep going, it says the report highlights 119 child welfare agencies across the country that have partnered with the Human Rights Campaign Foundation's All Children, All Family program to improve the services they provide to alphabet community, including children in foster care and prospective foster and adoptive parents. If you guys don't know, there's a lot of alphabet couples adopting kids through surrogate mothers. It's not good. These organizations serve more than 1 million clients annually in 35 states and employ more than 24,000 people. It's absolutely sickening. Now, that's the Human Rights Campaign, but if we look at their foundation, we're going to take a look at what they got going on with this. So let's take a look at some of this. Yeah, we can see that there's a lot more involvement rather than just stickers, flags, and marches. So if we take a look at this, the top three are interesting. We're going to go from right to left on this. 10 million elementary schools. Again, here's your focus on kids. Our Welcoming Schools program is the only anti-bias-based bullying prevention program in the nation, providing alphabet-specific training and resources through an intersectional lens. Oh, that's great. 80 plus countries. So they've got their reach in 80 plus countries. And then right here, 15 million plus worker protections. Through our corporate equality index, we have changed the landscape for alphabet workers from trans-inclusive healthcare to non-discrimination protections in the U.S. and beyond. So we're getting again, we've got the kids, we got a massive reach, but the workers, this is where we're starting to get into the corporate, the company type of stuff. And a lot of this comes through the HRC's CEI program. Now, I've talked about this before, but I want to bring this up again because this is important. I know a lot of people are talking about DEI, which is the diversity, equity, inclusiveness, equality, inclusiveness thing. But this is the CEI, which is a tool used for ESG. CEI is the Corporate Equality Index. This system is built to plug into the ESG scoring system, giving investors a rating system on companies regarding the social aspect of ESG, which is environmental social governance. It's basically a social credit score system on all of those things for each company. Now, if you don't know how if you don't know how ESG works, I've got a video of a quick rundown where this guy will explain it very, very good. Check this out.
Do better to define metrics that meet the Sustainable Development Goals for somebody who's used to us reporting our financial metrics. So we got the Big Four to work together. They took all the metrics that are out there. They consolidated those metrics along the SDG platforms, people, planet, prosperity, principles of governance, 4 or 5 metrics in each. Then and these are metrics people can report on. If you look in our annual report, you can see our report right there. They can sit there and say these companies are above the bar. The idea here is if you said company has to be a top, there's only going to be one, all the money goes to one company. But the idea, if you had 10 companies in the industry and the bar was X, it appears that it's good enough, and 8 of them are above it, the money will shift away from the other 2. And so it'll self-police itself, even if it doesn't become part of the official metrics, because the investors are now trying to substantiate how they are investing consistent with ESG principles, because the people who give them the money want them to do that.
Yeah.
That's when what everybody forgets about all this is it gets caught up in who's making the decision, but it's their clients telling them you have to do this, and it's our clients telling us you have to do this, especially around the environment and becoming more prevalent around human capital.
All right. So basically how he's explaining it is these companies are being forced into doing these different agendas in order to keep themselves above the investor line. Now, if they do not follow the rules, if they do not play the games, they do not implement these things that they're being told to, they will fall underneath that bar, like he was talking about, how there's a bar that you have to sit your company above. And if you get underneath that, you're going to see investors pulling out because it's going to start affecting their ESG score as well, and it's going to start pushing them towards the bar. So it's like a self-policing, just like you said, self-policing system where both the companies and the investors are required to play their parts, to do their rules in order to stay above that bar and continue to make the money. This is why I always talk about the go woke, go broke is actually a lie. They don't care about our money. They don't care about that. They want the investors' money. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So the CEI, now that we know we've got the ESG, how it works, they've got their rules and everything like that. The CEI is one of the tools that grades these companies to make sure that they are worthy of ESG investment, making the big dollars from the elites. So if we take a look at their CEI scoring, we'll get an idea of how this works. So we're going to take a look here. We're not going to go through everything. I just want to point out a few things. Number 1, workforce protections. You get 5 points for this. Policy includes sexual orientation and gender identity or expression for all operations. So this is how this works. It's just your basic, like a monopoly scoring type of system. And so you got workforce protections there. Number 2, inclusive benefits. This is 50 points possible. And to secure full credit or benefits criteria, each benefit must be available to all benefits eligible. That is a lot of benefits in one word, in one sentence. Benefits eligible U.S. employees in areas where more than one health insurance plan is available At least one inclusive plan must be available. Now, if we go down, it's ridiculous. Some of these points include equivalency in spousal and domestic partner family foundation benefits, regardless of sex. This is the promotion of alphabet families. Basically, we know God's order is man and woman is marriage, but they're trying to degrade that. They're trying to ruin that by saying, oh, a man and a woman is equal in that. It's not, but you get points for saying that it is. And then down there, equal health coverage for SOUP individuals without exclusion for medically necessary care. 25 points. That's a whopper. All right, right here. Number 4, corporate social responsibility. 20 points possible. So we take a look at this. I want to point out 2 of them. Marketing or advertising to Alphabet consumers, e.g. advertising with Alphabet content, advertising in Alphabet media, or sponsoring Alphabet organizations and events. This is what we're seeing with the Target. This is what we're seeing with the Bud Light. This is what we're seeing with the North Face. This is what we're seeing with the Lego. This is right here. They're trying to make their points, 20 points possible. And then you also see philanthropy, I can't say it, support for at least one Alphabet organization or event, financial or kind of pro bono support. So you're seeing donations to these groups, and you're seeing advertisements for and with Alphabet stuff. It's starting to make sense now. They're making points for their ESG via this CEI scoring system right here. If we keep going with the scoring, this is important. Negative, responsible citizenship. You get negative 25 points. Employers will have 25 points deducted from their score for a large-scale official or public anti-Alphabet blemish on their recent records. So if they come out and it's anti-Alphabet in any type of way, they will dock points. And it also says directing corporate charitable contributions to organizations whose primary mission includes advocacy against Alphabet equality. So if these people are actively supporting groups that go against the Alphabet agenda, you will also get docked points. Hang on to these, because we're going to bring something up in just a second. We're going to finish off the scoring real quick, but we're going to bring something up. Now, if we take a look here, this is the last one here. Points allocation. Businesses are rated on a scale from 0 to 100 with a certain number of points awarded for meeting each criterion. The HRC Foundation will continue to award partial credit to employers that have satisfied a portion of their certain criterion. So it's basically a rating scale of 0 to 100. And you got to hit a certain amount in order to make the points. And you add that to your climate, you add that to your policy stuff, and you're getting your ESG score on it. So let's get back here, though, real quick. Employers will have 25 points deducted from their score for a large-scale official or public anti-Alphabet blemish on their recent records, and directing corporate charitable contributions to organizations whose primary mission includes advocacy, there we go, against Alphabet equality. This is important. I've been asked several times about this. This is something I've been watching for years. That's right, years. This is not anything new. But this is the Chick-fil-A stuff, because I know a lot of people are asking, oh, they just went woke. They've been woke. They have been woke for a very long time. They've just done it silently and subtly, and you didn't know it. So this is going back to 2019. They were doing it earlier, but I couldn't find what I was looking for, so I'm just going to stick with this. This goes back to 2019. Chick-fil-A stopped their contributions, their donations to not only the Salvation Army, but the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They started pulling back from Christian/religious, I'm going to call Salvation Army religious, not necessarily Christian, organizations. Because, like we were talking about with the CEI, if you are actively donating to groups who are against Alphabet, Salvation Army doesn't really care about that, but Christian Athletes kind of does, it will affect your CEI score. You'll also notice they started, the chain also named 3 specific organizations that they'll be donating to, one being Covenant House. Why this is important, because if we take a look at Covenant House, this was also in 2019. Covenant House is an organization that helps facilitate Drag Queen Story Hour. So if you look at it, Chick-fil-A Foundation will be giving money to Covenant House. While its overall objective is virtuous, Covenant House New York affiliate is listed as one of the community partners that has provided community space for hosting Drag Queen Story Hours. This is in 2019, guys. So this is not anything new. I went to the Drag Queen Story Hour New York City page, went through, found the list of community spaces, and sure enough, Covenant House New York right there. I also marked off a couple of churches that are also housing Drag Queen Story Hour as well. So this is nothing new with Chick-fil-A. It's been going on for longer than 2019. Like I said, I couldn't find what I was trying to find. But I remember seeing something, this was like back in 2016, that they were pulling out of Christian organizations and donating to more than Covenant House. They were donating to a couple other ones that are actually pro-abortion and pro-alphabet marriage. So Chick-fil-A has not been Jesus chicken for a while. Just going to say. And it has to do with the CEI, the ESG, playing ball with the elite investors, because it's all about money. Follow the money. You can't serve two gods, everybody. Money is a god. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself, but the love of it. And when you start making moves like that, that's the love of money showing its head. So, when you have all that, we just talked about Chick-fil-A and the CEI scoring. The CEI is one tool that is being used to manipulate and force the company. Keep in mind, CEI is just for the alphabet stuff. They've got tools for everything else. Your race stuff, your the school stuff, CRT, Common Core, all that stuff. Then you get into the climate stuff. You get into the governance and the policy and who you're supporting for candidates and all that stuff. It goes deeper. So this is just one of the tools that is being used to manipulate and force a company like Target or Bud Light to play ball. Now, speaking of Bud Light, they do not care about the boycott. This is something that I've said right off the bat when all this Mulvaney soup stuff came out about Bud Light. They don't care. I know the thing out there, well, their stocks are falling and people aren't buying their stuff, and there's pictures of all, just all the beer that's missing, but Bud Light is sitting that they don't care. They just don't care. I know that, that may be a rude awakening for some people that they don't. And they're proving that they don't care because they care only about their elite investors. And if we take a look at their recent donation, you'll see that they really just don't care. Bud Light and the NGLCC, which is the National Alphabet Chamber of Commerce, continue to empower Alphabet-owned small businesses across America. If we take a look at their donation, we see right there at the top, in partnership with the NGLCC, the number one best-selling beer brand in the industry, will support Alphabet business owners of color through, so this is a double whammy right here for social justice of color through the NGLCC's Communities of Color Initiative. If we take a look at this is May 30th of this year. They don't care about the boycott, guys. Today, Bud Light and the National Alphabet Chamber of Commerce, the exclusive certifying body for Alphabet-owned businesses, announced they are extending their partnership to continue supporting economic opportunities and advancement for Alphabet Americans and business owners across the country. If we jump down, you'll see just how much they donated. This year, Bud Light will donate $200,000 to the NGLCC in support of its Communities of Color initiative. This initiative is designed to support the growth and success of minority Alphabet-owned businesses through certification, scholarships, and business development in effort to create equal opportunities for the economic advancement of small businesses in the Alphabet community. So with all of this news about their stocks plummeting, nobody buying their stuff, they're losing all this money, Bud Light went and donated $200,000 to continue to pump the Alphabet agenda. Why? Because they make more money from hitting their ESG goals through their investors than what they make through consumers buying their products. So again, they donated that $200,000 to it. They just, even though they had the backlash and the boycott and everything, this is why I keep saying the go woke, go broke is a lie. It doesn't matter when you've got these people who have these companies on a leash, because they're getting paid more and more and more, a lot more through this stuff than they are through us, from people buying it. And so if we take a look at just how much this ESG stuff actually pays out, we'll take a look at this. Why and how to build stronger corporate alphabet inclusion. Now, keep in mind, this is just for the alphabet stuff. You've also got money coming in from climate and environmental stuff. You've got it coming in through technology is one of them, policy, all this stuff. But we take a look at this. Consequently, ESG investors, along with the employees and consumers, are driving the demand for companies to implement sustainable diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's your DEI practices, and take stances on social issues such as alphabet rights and inclusion. Right here, though, it's growing, and it's going to grow a lot bigger. While these decisions feel morally grounded, they're also financially motivated. In fact, morally grounded, right? Morally bankrupt. In fact, sustainable investments received a $120 billion inflow in 2021. Sustainable investments received $120 billion inflow in 2021, more than doubling the $51.1 billion received by ESG funds in 2020. Look at the jump from one year to the next. And here we go, and setting another new annual record. And it appears the upward trend will continue. Global ESG assets are expected to hit 53 trillion, with a T, trillion, by 2025, according to Bloomberg, accounting for more than a third of the 140.5 trillion in total assets under management. You guys honestly think the sales through consumers is going to hit that number? It's not. It's not even going to come close. That's why they don't care about the boycotts or the consumers or anything like that. That's why they care about hitting ESG and getting paid, because the number is going to hit a ridiculous amount of money in just a matter of 2 years. You saw the jump from 2020 to 2021. It's just only going to continue to get bigger from there. We took a look at all that stuff. We're still on HRC. Let's take a look at the partners and the funding for the HRC. First up, they're platinum partners, because they have tier lists from platinum to bronze. Let's take a look at their platinum partners. There shouldn't be any surprise by some of these. Amazon, American Airlines, Google, JP Morgan, Macy's. Yeah, a lot of that. There's your Diageo, Smirnoff. That's a lot of alcohol stuff right there. But no surprise on some of those. But one I want to point out is Accenture, because I've talked about Accenture before in the past. Accenture is a big one, and I will show why. Meet Julie Sweet. Julie Sweet is the CEO of Accenture. And Julie here, she serves on the WEF Board of Trustees. This is the big board of the WEF. She serves on the same board along with Larry Fink, Chrystia Friedland, and Al Gore, and even Klaus Schwab himself. So this is her company, Accenture, who is one of the platinum partners with the HRC. So that's a big one right there. You'll notice Accenture pop up in a lot of things as we continue to go through this. If we take a look at Platinum Partners 2, because there's two of them here, we got Microsoft, Morgan Stanley, Nationwide, Pfizer, oh wow, Target, there's Target, Walt Disney Company, of course, UPS. So there's your Platinum Partners with the HRC, the Human Rights Campaign. And Walt Disney Company, yeah, they're throwing their Pride. Disney Plus has their Pride collection going on right there, so no surprise to be had on that. And yeah, so Some of those companies probably doesn't surprise you at all with what we know about them, but we're going to keep going. We're going to take a look at their gold partners now. Let's take a look at their gold partners. CVS, Nike, we've got Lexus, Intel, Nordstrom, PayPal. Oh yeah, PayPal. United Airlines, Salesforce. You'll notice Salesforce involved with a lot of this stuff as too. But one of the big ones right there is, can't pronounce it, Deloitte, you know what I'm talking about. Top right. Deloitte is also no surprise because we've talked about them recently with how they are leading the WEF's GHEN, which is the Global Health Equity Network initiative, which is built to add health equality to the ESG scores. And of course, they would be involved with that. No surprise. Silver partners. Who do we got here? BP. Yep. Caesars Entertainment, Capital One, Chevron, Citigroup, Cox, Goldman Sachs, Visa, U.S. Bank, United Health Group, MGM, MasterCard. No surprises there. These are just people who are fully involved. We take a look at the bronze partners. Let's see here. We got Bank of America, Best Buy, Boston Scientific, Cargill, Comcast, Dell, Hyatt, IBM, Johnson & Johnson. No shock there. Lumen, Medtronic, PepsiCo, PNC, Ross, Shell, Starbucks, T-Mobile. You'll see T-Mobile pop up again a little bit later. Whirlpool, Hershey. Hershey's up there too. Why do I point out Hershey? Well, because they're going full blown with this. This is in Canada. Check this guys out.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the executive director of Wisdom to Action. We can create a world where everyone is able to live in public space as their honest and authentic selves. See the woman changing how we see the future at Hershey's Canada.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago, and they had that going out as well. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great to see? So no surprise that Hershey is a part of their initiative with that. So now let's take a look at who funds, because we know those are their partners and they help with it too, but we got to look at funding and donors, because this is always follow the money. We always got to follow the money. So let's take a look at some of the big funders of the HRC. Oh, check it out. There's George Soros's Open Society Foundations. That's George Soros's company, guys. HRC Foundation is grateful to George Soros, I'm just going to put it there, Fred P. Hochberg and the Heyday Foundation, MetLife Foundation, no surprise there. Oh, and there's Disney again, Walt Disney Corporation, for their support of our global programs. They are big on grants. But we also got to take a look at some of the donations, the donors for this group here. We're not going to go through the list, but I highlighted a few of them. You got Bank of America, Coca-Cola Foundation. You'll see them pop up again later. Google, JP Morgan Chase, Open Society. There's George Soros again. PepsiCo Foundation, Pfizer, Rockefeller Foundation is there. Twitter is there too. There's Twitter. Wonder if Elon's going to pull out of that. Probably not. Vanguard. Yeah, that's right. There's your Vanguard. There's your BlackRock, and there's your State Street. Pay attention, because most of these companies are backed by those three. We always talk about those three, and most of these companies are backed by them. But here they are giving direct to the HRC. Walt Disney Company, Warner Media, Wells Fargo.